Welcome to part 2 of the video. In this, I would be talking a very interesting fact about Zomato. Not about Zomato, rather, I would be talking for many loss making startups. 80% of the loss making startups. Am I audible? I hope. 80% of the loss making startups have Big Fours their auditors. Big Fours, which includes EY, KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC. And I know that people are busy spending thousands of dollars on the courses like CFA, Certified Financial Analyst, don't say Chartered Financial Analyst, Certified Financial Analyst, CPA, American Institute of CPA, FRM, and many such courses. They do not pay any attention to Google, which, by the way, to me is like a Gita. Enormous quantity of knowledge is available on Google. If you open the Google and type EY, KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC, you will get to know about their numerous scandals. Numerous scandals. And I myself, on a weekly basis, do similar kind of research whereby I go to Google and I check it out the various scandals committed by these Big Fours. And I get a lot of information. But did any of, whether this is EY, KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC being prosecuted or convicted in India? Never. Rather, you would be surprised to know that Einstein and Young is still getting a very handsome business, even owned by the government. Rest you understand. And I continue to challenge Einstein and Young, and I know that they will never accept my challenge. That I'm also aware about. Now guys, let me give you a very fantastic information which I doubt you yourself aware about. In 2020, Zomato was having Einstein and Young as an auditor. In 2021, they changed it to Deloitte. Isn't this interesting? Did you know this? Did you knew this that Zomato changed two auditors? In 2020, Einstein and Young, and in 2021, Deloitte. It is the same Deloitte who contributed in infrastructure, leasing, and financial services. NFRA banned the former CEO of Deloitte, Mr. Udyan Sen, for 7 years and fined only 25 lakhs. Only 25 lakhs. So, CEO of Deloitte, what is 25 lakhs for him? Nothing. He will pay immediately. And according to the latest information, Deloitte fined 15 million GBP. I repeat, 15 million GBP for failings of audit in a software company, Autonomy. between January 2009 to June 2011, which is near about 2.5 years period. And they are the auditors of Zomato. And this is not the only achievement of Deloitte. If you go to Google, you will see numerous achievement of Deloitte. Numerous achievement. But time is restricting me not to mention each and every achievement. In infrastructure leasing and financial services, in Diwan housing, in Yes Bank, in Satyam, we have seen how fairly these big fours performed. Did they warn the investors in infrastructure leasing and financial services, Yes Bank, Satyam, and many such companies about the probable default? Never. So my biggest question to Indian regulators, and I know that they won't be replying this, what had forced Zomato to change the auditors consecutively in 1 year period? Which means in 2020, they were having Einstein and Young. And in 2021, they are having Deloitte. Just think about that. And it is the same Deloitte who very recently fined 15 million GBP. 15 million GBP. And in India, NAFRA fined only 25 lakhs. Job done. Let's check page number 1 of the annual report. This is the annual report of Zomato. A selective page is printed. Now this is a financial year 21 annual report. In this, check out a thing called, the income. The total income for financial year 20 was 2,742. In 2020, in 2021, it has reduced to 2,184, which means near about 600 crores of decline. And I'm sure Zomato is having an excuse, and that is Corona, lockdown. The losses for 2020 were around 2,385 crores. In 2021, these losses 816 crores. But this raises a big question. To me, maybe if not to you, it raises a big question. And that question is, a company who is consistently making losses on year-on-year basis, rather since inception, that would be a very right word, do this company really deserve to be a going concern company? That's very important. What the hell is going concern? Going concern means that you are making money, whatever dividends you are giving, and whatever left you invest in your reserves and surplus, which might be used for M&A, probably some R&D, new products, and multiple. Now, these companies are TCS, Infosys, Wipro, SCL, and many such companies. Profitable, after dividend, transfer to reserves and surplus, they move on. I repeat, part 3 of the video. In every company, there is a concept called retained earnings. But unfortunately, effective 2018. Now, why I'm saying 2018? Not because any accounting principle has changed in 2018. No, not like that. Because after 2018, the so-called SoftBank, Sequoia, Tiger Global, they all emerged. And majority of the investment, specifically speaking, Sequoia and SoftBank, are in loss-making companies. But still they are making money. And not a single regulator in India make them accountable. Like, you invested in a loss-making company, then how you are going to make a money? So what happens when a company earns 100 rupee? Assume they have a cost of 60 rupees. 40 rupees is their income. After all depreciation, whatever, which is called PAT, profit after tax, known as bottom line. Now, out of this 40 rupees, they pay some dividend. Even if company is listed or not listed, it hardly matters, because once the company is listed, they pay dividends to their shareholders. And if the company is not listed, they pay dividends to the founders. Either way, dividends are paid. But the difference is, if the company is listed, then they pay a hefty dividend because the shareholders' money is involved and they need to pay that, by the way, to be honest. Nothing wrong. But there are companies like Paytm, Zomato, Swiggy, Nikea, Policy Bazaar, and many. Those who consistently report the losses. Now, when you consistently report the losses, this losses becomes a part of your profit, basically equity capital. And eventually, rather than having a positive equity capital, you end up having a negative equity capital. And this concept in accounting, by the way, is known as retained earnings. Retained earnings. So the names I mentioned, whether this is Byju's, Ola, Swiggy, Zomato, Policy Bazaar, Paytm, Nikea, the upcoming like Delivery, Oyo, they have substantial negative retained earnings. And even after that, they got the approval, especially Oyo. I don't have data, but I'm accumulating the data. But if you accumulate the negative retained earnings of these companies, you have a very tremendous figure which is beyond imagination. I repeat, which is beyond imagination. You can't even imagine the kind of figure you end up. But not a foreign brokerage house like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citi, Credit Suisse, UBS, and many other, those who track Indian equity, they dare to cover this. They will not cover this because they know what would be the result. These companies will collapse like a trash of card. Look at Nikea. Nikea listed at 2,500. Today it is near about 1,300, which means almost 100% decline from the listing price. Almost. Paytm, 2,140. and now around 800. More than 60% decline. Similar is the scene of Zomato, Policy Bazaar, many companies. So when I get these annual reports from the websites, because I love research, I always look at the auditor name. And in financial year 21, the great person is Deloitte. You can see that. It is Deloitte, and this page is downloaded from the the website of Zomato. And the partner is Vijay Agarwal. Vijay Agarwal of Deloitte. His membership number, which is CA number, is 094468. 094468. The firm registration number for Deloitte is 015125N. This is mentioned here. Look like Vijay Agarwal is not a knowledgeable person, or probably he is like Goldman Sachs of 1MDB. In a 1MDB scandal which tantamount to billions of dollars, Goldman Sachs played a key role. Very key role. Similarly, I got the figures, and that is from the annual report. In financial year 19, the retained earnings negative 2,253 crores. 2,253 crores. In financial year 20, this grew to negative 4,666 crores. Great performance. Financial year 21, performance continued. It is negative 5,600 crores. Now you must be thinking, from where I got the data? From where I got the data? Who told me? Who gave me this data? Just check it out. This is the annual report of Zomato. You can see that it is right here. It is written as Zomato, and this is the Deloitte stamp. Just check here. This is called retained earnings. This tab, which is called retained earnings. Just check it out. And here it is clearly mentioned that the retained earnings is negative to the tune of 5,600 crores. It is clearly mentioned here, 5,600 crores. And last year it was 4,666 crores. So every year, as and when Zomato incurred the loss, and Zomato is a loss-making company, we know the negative retained earnings will grow, which, by the way, eat your capital reserve. But do we know this level of accounting? I doubt. So my question to Vijay Agarwal, membership number 094468. A company who having negative retained earnings of 5,600 crores, and there is no sight that they would be profitable probably in another year or so, do they deserve, I repeat, do they deserve to be a going concern company? Check this out. One more thing which I'm evaluating, how many analysts are covering the Zomato? And I would be naming them in my video, because as an analyst, if you're covering the Zomato, you need to let your investor know that whether a negative retained company can be a going concern company. See you in the part 4 of the video. with extremely interesting facts. Have a great time ahead.